everybody. Good morning and welcome to another episode of Dreams Unveiled with your hosts, Dawn Whitaker
and Melissa Salazar.
We're so happy to see you today. Actually, you see us. We don't really see you, but we know you're there. And thank you for everybody who subscribes and watches these and has been sending us dreams. We love that. That is wonderful. And I love when people send me dreams and say, this is so weird. You probably can't use it. I'm like, have you listened to the show?
Have you seen this?
Want those. We want those. Today, we have a short dream. We love the short dreams because there's so much in them. There's so much in the long dreams too, but I think the short dreams are those surprising, like that episode of something you're watching on TV and you didn't expect it to end that way.
Yeah.
We love that with these very short dreams. So Carla from Cuyahoga Heights, Ohio, sends us a dream, and it was a pretty brief dream, but it starts out, she's in college, and there's this huge dorm room. It's like this huge space, and all it has is beds in it, like in a dorm room. Almost looks like a hospital ward. It's like the striped mattresses or jail or something. Like, we're not revealing anything about ours.
Yeah, community room, like a community.
Yeah. But it does look like a jail. I'm not gonna lie. So it's just beds, and there were other rooms around it. But she was talking about there were all kinds of people there. This apparently was some type of like a parent weekend, and she had family members there. Her parents were there. Then she's by her bed, and there's this group of guys, and one of them had curly brown hair and a rugby shirt on. And anyway, he just raped her in the bed, in this open bed that people are coming and going and all of that. But when it was over, she was trying to share that this had happened, and nobody was believing her. Nobody seemed to take it really seriously, and she was feeling that she was just going to let it go. And a friend of hers, actually, that was in the dream, a friend of hers really encouraged her to report it, that this should not be something to let go. So she then, her dream ended with her having resolve to really take steps to, that he gets in trouble and that this is properly addressed.
Yeah.
And that was really the whole dream. I have to call people a lot of times and say, okay, what is going on? What prompted this?
Right.
One thing we know that anything sexual in a dream or even rape is typically a power play. It's not sexual.
Right.
I think that's a pretty significant imagery, especially if there is past trauma or something. But even if there's not, that's significant, typical imagery. So she starts sharing this whole thing. I felt so bad for her listening to this.
Yeah, not a good dream to have, So obviously something in the real world is going on.
Yeah, and she told me that she had just lost her job. And I said, sometimes I have to pull information. I go, well, can you elaborate on that? I just lost my job. And she shared that she was the director of a grassroots nonprofit organization where she lived. So she was sharing with me that she was the director of this local nonprofit organization, and she had been involved with them since their very early days. She said it was a real grassroots kind of a movement, helping women with children. So what happened is that their leadership, the board, the leadership changed and started looking at things, and they decided, for whatever reason, that she was not really the appropriate person to be in her position. And they just terminated her. And she, I think, just said she was there for 18 years. It was a long time. They terminated her, and they also terminated the staff that was really surrounding her, that had worked closely with her over the years. So it was a very interesting thing. I mean, there's a bit of trauma there. I mean, she's deeply resentful. She's upset. So I said, okay, now that explains the dream.
The rape part, of course, yeah.
And so, just in a nutshell, and a lot of times, what's important, and I've said this before, it's very, hi kitty cat, it's very important that anything that I say, like, okay, this makes sense, this is the dream, that it resonates. So she's like, oh, yeah, as we're going through it, that makes sense.
Yeah, like an aha moment.
If she didn't have the aha moment, that dream was not about
that. Yeah.
So let's tear this apart and take a look. The rape. And here's the thing. The rape is by somebody that she described in the dream. First of all, he was a good-looking guy. He was a popular guy. She perceived he was popular, and his friends were very popular.
Yeah, he was wearing rugby, so was part of the team.
Yep. So
normally popular kids.
Yeah, and I think that from that standpoint, that even translated more to some of the power, because she got pushed out. So the people that were making the decisions would have been perceived as the popular kids in this situation.
The one with power.
Yeah. And the other thing too is that this took place at college. Well, I think she said she was in her mid-30s, and I don't have my notes in front of me today. We're doing this. Yeah. Naked. No notes. No notes. So it's not like she just graduated college.
Right.
So what would be the symbolism of the college and the dorm room? I mean, college, what is college? It's a place where you're just out on your own and exploring and doing...
You're learning.
Right.
You're learning, you're growing.
You're developing and becoming independent, right? Yeah. So here she has been, running this nonprofit organization for a very long time. And, I think she went up the ranks, but for most of it, she was directing. So the dream starts out in this place where it's congregate. In other words, there's a lot of people involved.
Yeah, and like you said that it was like maybe like parent week or something like that.
So the parents, she did describe that the parents for both him, this guy, and her parents were present, and even her parents didn't believe her, and that was a really
that's tough,
big, painful thing. So now we have the popular people having power. Mm-hmm. And we have these parents here, and I don't know anything about really his parents. I just know they were present. But think about this. Her parents are authority, right? A board of directors would be authority over a leader of a nonprofit. So that kind of makes sense. And the idea, they just were very dismissive of the allegations. They were just very dismissive. So, and I think the vibe was they didn't take her seriously. So it wasn't even like, oh my gosh, you were raped, this is awful. She wasn't being taken seriously. And I was talking to her about this loss of this position, and she really did not see it coming. Yeah. So talking about that loss of the position, I think for her, that nobody was taking her seriously when she's trying to really explain what all she was doing and justifying why she was doing what she was and why it's going after whatever funding, or I think she felt like she wasn't being taken seriously. In other words, the board had already made up their mind, and there really was nothing
to that she back on,
that's right. So I think that there was some of that. I also think, from the parents, that treatment, that there was some gaslighting.
Right.
Because
I feel like the setting of the whole thing, it's a community thing. Everyone can see. Her parents are there.
Yeah, it's very, very wide open.
Right, so everyone can see. But sometimes it's hard to, outspeak the higher people, if that makes sense. Like, like the popular kids, it's hard to, have one person against, 5 people.
Sometimes some of the biggest infractions against people happen when there are people all around.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Now, let's talk about the evidence. She had evidence, the bed sheets.
Oh, yes.
And her
we
friend
didn't even talk
that.
about that. Yes, the bed sheets. So the friend that really is encouraging her, that recognized, and my guess is this was probably a coworker.
Yeah.
Somebody that was working side by side with her. Maybe one of the people that also was asked to leave. But it seems to me that when she's going forward, she's like, please, you need to say something. You can't let this go.
Right.
And so the evidence of the rape was that the bed sheets had evidence of a rape on it. And she could take that as DNA evidence. They were talking specifically about the DNA evidence. And it happened in her bed. So even though there were all of these beds, it definitely was targeted. And that targeting, I think, the idea that it was a bed that was definitely hers in this whole, rows and rows of
really
bed.
Like personal.
Then it was, and it really was a targeting in her mind. Now I have to say, we don't know the details of all this. I don't know her history in this organization or anything.
Yeah.
But what we're dealing with is her perception of events. So this isn't anything where it's a right or wrong necessarily, but the idea that in the dream there was somebody that is saying, we have evidence. You need to take the sheets and get them analyzed. You need to go forward. Do not let this just go.
Right.
And I think is really important, which probably leads me to believe there's at least some kind of alleged impropriety, or it could be misconduct. It could have been just not best practice and poorly initiated.
Yeah.
But there sounds like there was something going on for that element to be in the dream where she did not want to do anything about it. But in the dream, people are coming to her and saying, no, you should not let this go. You really need to do something.
Right.
So I think that is really a significant part, and very specifically the friend saying over and over, or the friend in the dream.
In the dream.
Yeah. I don't know the role
of
in her life.
Yeah.
Just saying, you have evidence. You need to present the evidence that you have. So whatever happened, maybe something political, who knows?
Right.
I don't know enough about the organization, but just having that kind of an understanding, this is clearly, she was overpowered by somebody that had position in the school or power as far as from a peer standpoint.
Yeah.
And the authorities dismissed what she had to say. And there
as
was
well
this,
as her parents.
Yep. And there was this one person that is saying, you have evidence, you need to fight this, you need to do something about this. So the dream ended there.
Yeah.
With that. And, it's really interesting because when I was talking to her, I really was strongly suggesting that if there is something there, that, if she, in her dream, her sleeping mind, her dreaming mind is saying, you need to fight this.
Right.
That means there probably is at least something to be explored. Regret is an awful thing, people. Don't try not to ever be in a position where you regret something.
Right. Or regret not doing something.
Yeah. So, hopefully, and Carla, I'll touch base with you. I want to know if something came to light out of this, or if there was some kind of change. I realize that her position had already been terminated, but maybe she feels, she's been with this organization so long that she wants to really prevent anything bad from happening to the organization.
Right.
I think that she may be just needing to resolve this for her own self and may not need to take any kind of action.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to come to terms with what's going on for ourselves and for our own peace of mind and our own comfort.
Yeah, and Carla seems like she likes to help, so maybe she can find, a different organization that she can help with, or, just do something small.
I have a feeling she's not going to have any trouble finding employment. I think she's 2 weeks out. The determination happened 2 weeks before the dream.
Yeah.
And I think that she's already
onto something new.
Yeah, she already is moving
girl.
forward. So I think that all taken care of. So, but I think the interesting thing is that, the communal living space, which that dormitory, there's a lot to say about that because it's showing connection, but it's also showing that connection wasn't protection.
Right.
So I think that is really a big thing that it manifested that way.
Yeah.
And I think, the college type. She's very intelligent. I mean, I was really, really impressed. She, like I said, I'm not expecting she's going to have any trouble finding,
Any jobs,
yeah. But I think that setting, because the setting wasn't academic. It literally was the room with all of these beds.
Right.
This room of just the dormitory is really the only part of the college that was shown. We just knew it was college. So I think the idea that all of these people, because I mean there were, like, the way she described it, like 40 beds in this huge room.
Yeah.
So and the idea that she occupied one of those beds, and
nobody saw a single thing.
No, and people are kind of wandering in and out. It was pretty clear that she has all these connections and still didn't see this coming. I think that's what this speaks to. Is that she's out there in the community with this program, probably speaking at events, probably doing all kinds of proactive in the community things.
Yeah.
And nobody saw anything. Nobody saw this coming, and then everyone's like, oh, it's not
it didn't really happen.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, this happened. Yeah, okay. You know?
Yeah.
So I think that, that is a lot of how she's feeling, that she really feels blindsided and she feels very betrayed. That absolutely is very, very betrayed.
Yeah.
So I hope she doesn't hold on to that.
No, I feel like Carla's a smart girl.
Yeah.
And she's got this.
I agree. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our Ohio dream. We're going for all 50 states now.
That would be cool.
It would be.
Right, dreams around the world.
Yeah.
Whoa, we have to get someone out there, or maybe other side of the world. Send us your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be great. But anyway, I just want to thank you all for tuning in today for Carla's dream and allowing us to do this without any notes or anything.
Yeah.
So we hope you have an amazing day and sweet dreams tonight.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you so much.